Hey everyone, Fresh here. Uh, I wanted to go ahead and make a video just talking about the new ring for the new patch in 11.0.7, the Circe's Signet ring. I did go through and I did the whole quest chain and everything to unlock the ring, to get all the gems that are currently available. Right now, there's only 4 gems. There's 2 yellow gems, 1 blue gem, and 1 red gem. So you're kind of locked into what you can put in your ring currently, and you can get it up at 642 item level. So not a lot of choices, so pretty easy to kind of figure out if this ring is worth wearing compared to other rings. Now, my current rings before the patch came out were I have a 639 high crit ring with haste on it, so this has kind of been my basically default ring for pretty much the whole season. Haven't got any other 639 rings with good stats on it, so I've just been using these hero track rings here. One is a crit haste ring. One is a haste verse ring. They both have the same socket or same gems and same enchant and all that kind of stuff. So if I wanted to go a little bit more defensive, I can wear the versatility ring. If I want a little bit more damage, I can wear the crit ring. But they're kind of sixes in terms of their value and everything. So with the new ring, I decided, you know what? Let's run some sims. Let's see how this new ring is simming compared to hero track rings. So that's what I went ahead and did. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those up and we can take a look at the sims real quick and see, is it worth wearing the new ring? And I ran a total of 6 sims. So I ran 3 dungeon sims, so basically like kind of AoE sims with one of each of the ring, the verse ring, the crit ring, and the signet. And then I ran 3 patchwork sims, so those are single target sims. Again, 1 verse ring, 1 crit ring, and 1 Circe signet. Before I kind of dive into these, I do want to preface this. Remember, the rings that I'm kind of testing are hero rings versus the signet. So if you have myth rings, I would think at this point the myth rings probably outweigh the hero rings, but if you only have like a hero ring and a myth ring, they're probably fairly close in terms of damage, as we'll see here with these sims. So this first sim we're looking at, this is a dungeon slice using the 639 crit ring and a 626 haste verse ring. And the DPS comes out to about 930,000, which is honestly pretty close to the DPS that I have when I look at the end of a dungeon on details. I'm usually a little bit under a million DPS, so this looks about right. Nothing crazy or anything like that. But let's go ahead and hop over to the next sim. So then this sim is going to be the signet. So this is the patch ring. As you can see, it's right here. Although interestingly enough, this is actually showing an old version of the ring. So I'm wondering if maybe the sims are actually off on this. But either way, you can see here the sim comes out to slightly worse than the verse ring, but not by much, about 5,000 less DPS. So not a huge difference really. So some of the value that you gain with the signet ring is that you do get the healing proc from the blue gem. Remember, that doesn't add any DPS. Depending on how often that procs, we'll have to kind of see how much value that adds to the ring. And then the other, you do also get some extra stamina as well. But I'm kind of thinking the Sims this site might be a little bit needs to be updated, as it's showing in out of date item level ring. So this may be a little bit off, but we can at least use this to kind of gauge, kind of approximate maybe where we're at. And then this third dungeon slice sim, this is based on using the hero crit ring in combination with the myth crit ring. As you can see, this is the highest DPS sim, and this is for AoE. So you can see it's a little bit more damage than the verse ring and about 10,000 more DPS than the signet. And remember, this is just raw damage. This doesn't take into account survivability or utility or anything like that. It's just straight up DPS. So then let's take a look at the next 3 sims. So the next sim is going to be, this is a patchwork sim using the verse ring with the myth track crit ring. So this is a single target sim, and the total DPS comes out to slightly more than 660,000. The next sim, this is the one using the signet. Or circlet, sorry. So this comes out to 668,000 DPS. So definitely a little bit of a noticeable DPS gain. In fact, if you come down and look down here, you can see the proc the damage from the proc on the yellow gem is about 5% of your total damage on single target. So pretty good for like just one, basically, one gem in the ring. And then the final sim, this is going to be using the double crit ring. So we'll have a crit haste hero ring and a crit haste myth ring. And this is only slightly behind the circlet, but not by too much. And yeah, so the long and short of it is that in terms of damage, right now it appears the circlet is pretty close to your other rings. And again, like I said at the beginning of this, if you have two myth track rings, especially if they're myth track rings with good stats, like some mix of crit and haste and verse, then those rings will probably be better, especially in AoE situations when it comes to damage. But we'll have to kind of test and see how good the healing proc is and see if that's worth it. And as more gems come out, that add more damage, like if we can add a blue gem that just gives us damage as opposed to one that procs a random heal or whatever, then I imagine then the circlet will become the most desirable ring. So the TLDR basically is you're probably fine to equip the signet, but it's not going to be a significant DPS increase at this point because we don't have enough gems and because the ring isn't all the way upgraded. So, but this is kind of just to break it down for you so you can kind of see, do I need to try and get this ring ASAP, or can I just continue using the rings I have right now in dungeons and just worry about the circlet like later this week, essentially. So anyways, thanks again everyone for watching, and you can check out my Mythic Plus runs and when I'm streaming World of Warcraft over at twitch.tv/freshtanking. Go ahead and like and subscribe this video if you want to see more Mythic Plus content centered on tanking. So thanks again and have a good one.